Another question that sort of links in, and obviously this is going back to your well-established work on the Kalam cosmological argument. And I know you've answered this question a number of times, but Nathan asks it, and I think it's helpful to remind ourselves on how you respond. Firstly, he says, why can't the universe just begin without a cause? And secondly, if causes are relationships between spatio-temporal events, why would the universe, which is not a spatio-temporal event, need a cause? This, of course, just to set the scene, is obviously related to the Kalam cosmological argument, in which you say anything which begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore the universe has a cause, and then you give reasons for why that cause is best explained as God.
Yes.
But to sum up again this question, why couldn't the universe just begin to exist without a cause? And what about the fact that it doesn't seem to have the same kind of properties as other causes, which are spatio-temporal?
Well, to speak to the second point first, I think it's an unjustified assumption to say that causality only holds between spatio-temporal events. I can't imagine what an argument for that assumption would look like. And so I think that is an unjustified assumption. Now, with respect to the causal premise of the argument, in my published work, I've given 3 arguments for the truth of this causal premise, each of which I think is sufficient for rendering it more probable than not, and which together make a powerful cumulative case for its truth. And these would be, number 1, that the causal premise is rooted in the metaphysical first principle that something cannot come from nothing, that being only comes from being. And if that's true, then the universe, being everything there is on an atheistic worldview, cannot come into being without a cause, because being only arises from being. Secondly, if things could come into existence uncaused, if being can begin from non-being, then it becomes inexplicable why just anything and everything doesn't come into being without a cause. And that affirmation would completely destroy science. And then thirdly, it would be the inductive evidence that we have for the causal premise. The premise is constantly verified in our experience and never falsified. And so I think we have good inductive evidence for it as well. So we have both philosophical grounds and inductive grounds for affirming that whatever begins to exist has a cause.